Hey, welcome back everybody and Happy New Year's and welcome to a brand new year and thank God we're done with 2020. It's a time of the year where we want to make the right resolutions for the rest of the year. And you've been in that situation where you're meaningful and you make the right decisions and then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's July. Nothing's happened and you tell yourself, oh, it's too late, I'm not gonna make it happen. And then you tell yourself, okay, I'll do it in 2022. So in my many years of making goals, trying, failing, and not really getting anywhere, I realized that three common problems that tend to occur, either in myself or in other people as well. The first is that they're too vague. The second is that there's no plan to get there. And third, it's just not a powerful goal. I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experiences, some of the tactics to overcome those three problems which I mentioned earlier. And on top of that, at the end of the video, I'll be sharing with you my personal goals as well and some of the things I do to achieve them. Hey guys, it's Sun Min and welcome back to a brand new year and a brand new episode of Your Money Game, the show where we'll all get better with saving, spending and investing. So let's start with that first problem of goals being too vague. So if you met me many years ago when I just started earning, just started trying to invest, and if you asked me what were my financial goals, I would have told you like, I want to get rich. Duh,
Wow.
Stupid question. So let's take that goal of being rich. It can be easily improved by just adding on a few more questions. So how rich? How do you intend to get there? Or why is it specifically that amount that you want? So as you can see, if you don't solve the problem of a vague goal, it is impossible to solve the other two problems as well, where you don't have a plan or you don't really just have the right motivation to follow through. You want to save more? How much? You want to start investing? How much do you want to invest and by when? And if you want to spend less, where? Where in your current budget do you intend to cut those spends? And if you find yourself setting a grand ambitious goal for 2021, it's great. But if it's too big and too daunting, it's really an action step of trying to make it more manageable so that you can actually achieve milestones along the way. For example, say you want to be a millionaire, you want that $1 million, but depending on where you're starting right now, it could be a very, very big goal. So even though it's specific, it's not really that useful. So if you ask some of the questions that I mentioned earlier, for example, when do you want to become a millionaire? And you end up saying, look, I want to be a millionaire in 20 years. That would mean 50,000 of savings in a year to achieve that in 20 years. But that's still quite a lot of money to save every year for an average person, right? But guess what? You're smarter than the average person, so it's very likely that you'll not just be saving, but you'll be investing as well to achieve that number. And through the power of compounding, even if you started at zero today, you only need $25,000 saved and invested, growing at 7% a year, to achieve that $1 million by 20 years. That's half of what you would have originally needed just by raw savings alone. My point is, have that big, hairy, audacious goal. That's perfectly fine. But break it down into a milestone that you can accomplish in 2021. So I do hope that you make it a goal to hit that like button because that really helps my goal of growing my channel. It helps my videos reach more people and hopefully help a few more people along the way as well. So now that we've solved the problem of goals that are too vague, let's tackle the second one, which is not having a right plan to get there. Some people call it a plan, but I prefer to think of it as a system where there are multiple things working together to help you accomplish the goal. So here are some suggestions of how you can think about building a system for yourself to achieve those goals. Question 1, ask yourself what are the daily habits that you can create to help you get there. Habits are great because once you get through that hurdle of forming them, they become a little bit more automatic and it helps you achieve those goals easier. For example, maybe it's a daily habit of making your own coffee. Instead of going out and buying it all the time, you can save on that $5. Or maybe it's just waking up a little bit earlier so that you can catch public transport instead of trying to rely on a cab. Question number 2 is, can you make it more efficient? Having a list of specific action steps are fantastic to helping you accomplish the goal, but it becomes tricky once you have too many of them and it's difficult to keep track of them. So one interesting technique which I learned from an author called James Clear is called habit stacking. It's the action of bundling multiple action steps together to form one habit. For example, you could take an action step like creating an end of the month budget, and that's what I do. And at the same time, you can bundle in a specific action of maybe transferring money to your broker and then buying your new investment. Now, the third way to improve your system is to ask yourself if you can remove any barriers that are either slowing you down or holding you back. Say you're trying to save, but then maybe your inbox happens to have way too many subscription newsletters that's always tempting you, and if you know yourself, maybe you're giving in one too many times. Or say you're gonna be more ambitious and you're saying that 2021 is the year I'm gonna make that side hustle happen. But then some of the people around you, perhaps they're a bit negative, or they're not really as supportive as you want them to be. So perhaps it's to spend less time with people like that. Now, the last step I have for you for improving your system is to ask yourself, can you make it more fun? This one is really underrated, but you should really enjoy the process and not find it like a constant struggle and suffering to get towards your goals. Maybe it's a very simple reward system that you create to motivate yourself along the way. Maybe win yourself an ice cream and waffles every time you make an investment. So the last problem are goals that are just not powerful. Now, this one really hits home for me because I've tried and failed in so many different things. And if there's one thing I realize is that with big goals, it is never easy. And when things get difficult, if the goal itself is not motivating, it's not powerful enough for you, you're just gonna give up. It is simply asking yourself why. Why do I want this goal so badly? And if you have an answer, and when you tell yourself that answer and you feel meh, guess what? The effort that you're gonna put in as well is likely to be meh. But besides that one big question, there are other tactics that you can use as well to add a little bit more energy and motivation. You could use the incentive system like I mentioned earlier. Reward yourself along the way. It could be inspiration from stories of other people who have accomplished the goals that you want. You could build your own Avengers team. Find the right allies and people that you feel inspire you and also are encouraging you along the way. Shout out here to the Seedly Personal Finance group on Facebook, which is a fantastic group of people who are all trying to get better at money. And my final and favorite tip is to actually try and bake it into your identity. Now, I personally resonate with the idea of being a minimalist. And this is simply a lifestyle choice to find happiness in simpler things, and also it helps me be more conscious in the way I consume things. And as a result of me resonating with that identity, it helps me make certain financial decisions a little bit easier. Now finally, let me share with you some of my simple goals and systems that I use to accomplish them. Now I have a monthly savings goal of 60% of my income, and what I do is I track every single expense that I have on a budget app called Money Manager. And in this app, I set what I call a phantom budget, which is simply an artificial ceiling that tells me that this is how much I have to spend. That way, it kind of tricks me a little bit to make me automatically spend within that limit itself. At the end of the month, I use a Google Spreadsheets to try and capture what my actual spends were, how much I might have overspent or underspent, alongside any notes that I can use to refer to in the future. When it comes to spending, a couple of years back, I set this goal of trying to reduce my consumption of meat, which is both a financial goal as well as just a personal one as well. By eating more vegetarian meals as well as meal prepping, it really helped me save a lot of money. And in an average work week, I meal prep about 60 to 70% of my meals. For investing, my big goal is my financial independence number, but along the way, I'm simply just automatically investing as much of my savings as possible. I do that by accumulating a couple of months worth of savings and then investing it into a predefined portfolio of ETFs which I own. And to get a little personal, I mentioned this in a couple of videos before, my main motivation to achieve financial independence is because I've got family all around the world. So I'm here working and living in Singapore, my family's in Malaysia, I've got a brother in Australia, I've got a sister in the US. So ideally, in my eyes, I want to achieve independence so that I can spend more time with my family. So that's me in a nutshell. What about you? What are you going to achieve in 2021? And what are the systems that you're going to create to help you accomplish those milestones? I would love it if you could share it with me down below in the comments. So thanks for watching, and I really appreciate all your support so far. And if you haven't already, I would really love it if you could click on that like, subscribe, as well as that bell button, because I'm going to be back again next Sunday with a brand new video. And until then, you take care, have a fantastic 2021, and keep playing your own game.